Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show this weekend. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
Fantastic. Coming up later in the program, I'm going to be visiting with PLUS-TaansenFairmont, and I hope I'm saying all that right. She's from another country, and she's got a cookbook. It's called Pure and Simple, and this is, I think she's done, I don't know how many books overseas, a bunch of books overseas, but this is her first book that's going to be like an American release. So I'm kind of excited about that. Got a couple of quotes for you, Heidi. You ready for these?
Ready.
It says, I think in terms of evolutions, not revolutions. Failure is not part of my vocabulary. That is Sheila Lirio Marcello, founder of Care.com, whoever that is. And then another one from Sigmund Freud. We've heard of him, right?
Yes.
I cannot think of any need in childhood as strong as the need for a father's protection. See, it's Father's Day weekend, so that's a good quote.
That is a good one.
Coming up, we've got some special things going on this weekend. We'll tell you all about those in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Let's do the whole darn weekend. Saturday, June 17th, Eat Your Vegetables Day, Stewart's Root Beer Day, World Day to Combat Desertification and Drought, Dollars Against Diabetes Day, Polar Bear Swim Day, and World Juggling Day. All that happening Saturday. Sunday, June the 18th, Father's Day, of course, but it's also Clark Kent's birthday, Autistic Pride Day, Family Awareness Day, Husband Caregiver Day, International Sushi Day, National Splurge Day, and Turkey Lovers Day. So there you go. Husband Caregiver Day. I wonder what that is.
I don't know.
With that, it's kind of like, I suppose maybe if you're not a father, but you're still a husband and you take care of somebody. Okay, that makes sense. So there you go. Everybody's kind of got a day. And today, we got a couple of things that are going on. Like I said, the whole darn weekend. All kinds of fun stuff. Stick around. We got so much more to get to on a weekend edition of the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
I love watching TV shows and movies, but I hated seeing my monthly bill get higher and higher. All that money every month just to watch TV. Well, not anymore. We cut our cable. We were paying $185 a month for channels we didn't even watch. Now we pay for just the internet, and we save about $150 a month. And we still get to watch what we want, when we want, with no monthly fee. Learn how you can do this too at ChannelSurferTV.com. Watch the video there to learn how to watch movies and TV with no monthly fee. Do it today and save 50% at ChannelSurferTV.com.
John and Heidi.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. What do you do for a man who has cancer? I don't know. How about give him the pink slip? That doesn't sound good, does it?
No.
No, not at all. 54-year-old Ronald Mikowitz is a fire inspector in Bedford Park, Illinois, or he was a fire inspector. He was fired after 28 glorious years on the job, about 1 year shy of retirement, for violating a town rule against soliciting charitable contributions. But get this, the solicitation was initiated by other people, wasn't even initiated by him, to pay for Ronald's treatment for tongue cancer, which thought by doctors to be quickly fatal. They thought this could kill this dude right away. However, Ronald got his miracle. He beat the odds. He survived after chemotherapy. Again, he had cancer in his tongue. So he returned to work, even though town officials, having noted Ron's near-terminal condition earlier, approved the solicitation, again, that was done by somebody else. When he came back to work, other officials insisted that we must enforce the no solicitation rule, and we need to let him go. Heartless jerks. He is rightfully sued for wrongful discharge.
Yeah.
And I think he could certainly win because he didn't even do it. Somebody else did that on his behalf. If that's all it takes to get fired, then anybody that wants someone to get fired, just do a fundraiser for that person you want to get fired.
Yeah.
In that situation.
That's not right.
No, it's not at all. And the sad thing is, again, he was 1 year shy of retirement. So, he was going to be out of there. So if there was somebody that was just bitter about something, he was about to retire anyway. I mean, just let the guy go peacefully. I don't understand that. So that's really kind of sad. Anyway, that happened in Bedford Park, Illinois. And you know it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
Each day at this time, we talk about people doing dumb things under the influence, but addiction is no laughing matter. If you or someone you know needs help, there's a toll-free number you can call.
1-800-438-0380.
That's the Addiction Hope and Helpline.
1-800-438-0380.
And this is your brain on drugs. A man is acquitted of drunk driving because he was too drunk. Yeah. August is when this happened. Last year, I believe, Portland, Oregon. A jury acquitted a drunk driving defendant, Robert Lee Bursick, after a judge accepted his argument that incriminating statements that he made at the scene could not be used against him because he was so drunk he didn't know what he was doing, and he waived his Miranda rights. So he was too intoxicated to know what he was doing. He waived his Miranda rights and said that I shouldn't have to be held accountable for that. And the judge agreed. He was acquitted. That just seems like a real slippery slope there.
Absolutely.
Because now, anybody else in Oregon anyway, if they want to say, hey, case law says I can do this, I was so drunk I didn't know what I was doing. So can they do that if they murder somebody while they're drunk? Can they say, I was so drunk I didn't know I murdered that guy? Okay, yeah, it's okay then. I just think that's a sad idea right there. So anyway, that happened. And kids, I think the judge had his brain on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now your moment of duh. Good news, Heidi.
What's that?
Not all idiots live in the United States. This guy's from Australia, and he might have just thought instead he could have quit smoking. That might have been a better plan than this. Went into a supermarket to buy a pack of smokes, discovered he was $1 short. So what does our genius do? He walks next door to a video store and broke a glass bottle that he found on the way and demanded $1. And the clerk gave him $1. He robbed the place for $1. Then he walked back next door and paid for the cigarettes.
He probably could have just asked them nicely for $1, and somebody probably would have just given it to him.
Didn't think the video store clerk would turn him in, or video store clerk, whatever I'm trying to say. But he did, and he was arrested walking down the street enjoying that cigarette that he bought. So think about how much that cigarette cost him. His freedom. He broke a bottle, robbed them at broken bottle point for $1.
Yeah, that's
Doesn't
crazy.
make any sense at all. Coming your way, we have your scoop of the day.
John and Heidi.
If you promised yourself you'd lose weight before you went to the beach, that's still within reach. Get some help from a cool pink drink. Try it free at pinkdrinkfree.com. This pink drink tastes great and can help you lose weight. 8 out of 10 Americans are overweight. If you're tired of being one of them, we'd love to help. People around the country are experiencing amazing results with this pink drink, and you can try it before you buy it at pinkdrinkfree.com. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
Now your scoop of the day. A Georgia man allegedly stole a Ferrari, a 488 GTB. I'm not sure what
I
that
have no
is.
idea.
Sounds expensive, though. And you ever see a car, something real expensive, and you go, I couldn't afford it. I couldn't even afford the insurance.
Yeah.
Or you might say, I couldn't even afford the gas for something like that. Well, he couldn't. He stole a Ferrari in Northern California. A short time later, ran out of gas. Yeah, maybe you should think ahead. Maybe you shouldn't steal Ferraris. You know who could afford a Ferrari is Sean Diddy Combs. He is the highest earning celebrity of 2016-2017. $130 million.
Huh.
So I'm not exactly sure what he's doing, because he's not doing new music, is he?
I have no idea.
I have to pay attention, I guess.
I don't pay attention.
There you go. I think he's producing music now. I think that's what's going on. Cosmopolitan reports that 20% of women say technology makes it harder to communicate face-to-face. Do you agree with that, Heidi?
I definitely agree with that.
We were just having dinner last night, and our son and myself and my wife were all at the same table, and Heidi over here got on her phone, and then our son said, hey, put that phone away. And then it wasn't even 2 minutes later, my son and I were both on our phones, and Heidi was like, hey, wait a minute. What about this whole put the phone away thing? So apparently it was, a lot easier to notice somebody else doing it. Oliver Stone had an interview series with Vladimir Putin. I think that was on like a week ago or whatever. There are now people criticizing it, saying it was like a love letter to Russia. Maybe we shouldn't criticize. Maybe we should be happy that we're not starting wars, because that would be.
I honestly
so
don't
much
see
worse.
a problem with getting along with
We should get
everybody.
along with every country. That would be a good thing. And artificial intelligence, there's a company out there that creates artificial intelligence, like computers that can think on their own. Well, as artificial intelligence continues to develop, we're going to see machines do more and more things that humans do, and some things we can't do. One of the things they're working on, we talked about this last week, flying airplanes. But now, how about beating Miss Pac-Man? Yeah, Microsoft's AI computer, it's an artificial intelligence computer, recently beat the game and scored 1 million points. So the high score before was way less than that, with mere mortals trying to play. So In Taiwan, people are taking their pets to fortune tellers to find out what is in store for their furry friends. Dogs and cats and rabbits and birds being taken to fortune tellers, with some people bringing pictures of their dead dog to find out if their pet's having a good life in the afterlife.
Wow.
Heidi, we really need to get in on that. I think we could tell. Oh, your cat is feeling... Does she have some sort of box that she likes to go in when she needs to go to the bathroom? She feels self-conscious if you look at her when she's in there. Your dog, does he like bones?
I would tell everybody their pet was in hell.
Yeah. Oh, come
Oh my
on.
goodness, this a shame.
Oh.
Fluffy, did she steal toys from other animals or?
Oh. Hey, something that I thought was interesting. Speaking of psychics, and then we're going to get back to pets. Blair Robertson is a psychic. He was in Canada having lunch with a mentor and a fellow psychic when a Lexus crashed through the front window and smashed into the booth that they were in, pinned him against a wall. The woman driving was not injured, and both men said, "We did not see that coming." Wait a minute. Weren't you psychics? Shouldn't you have picked a different booth? I'm just saying. And we talked about people taking their pets to the fortune teller, but have you ever smuggled a pet into a hotel room that doesn't allow pets? Heidi, have we ever done this?
Yes.
I remember doing it
We
one
have.
time. It's back before we had Miley, so this would have been
Just Mandy.
9 years ago because
Yeah.
we only had one dog. And what do we smuggle her in? Do you
In
remember?
your laptop case.
A laptop case.
Yeah.
25% of us have done this. We like to travel with our pets. In fact, 51% said we would bring our pet on every trip if we could. 85% of pet owners travel with a dog. Only 21% travel with their cat. So there you go. And speaking of taking dogs,
Well, that's
and
because cats are, they can stay home and they
don't wanna
don't
come
need
with.
to be, you know what I mean? They don't
They
need to
never
be
stick
let
their head out the
outside. They
window.
don't need, so they could stay home and use their litter box. It's not
Well,
as important.
One last thing here. California, a woman's grandmother was in the hospital for 3 days. She wanted to see her dog, so her granddaughter put her dog in a blanket, puppy dog Patsy, and made it look like a baby, and she went into a hospital, and her grandmother was thrilled to see this girl. I've got a link to her page so you can see a picture of the dog. Over 10 million people have been to her Twitter site.
Wow.
Because she posted on there, she's like, what is going on? And it was when it was 600,000, then it was 10 million. This lady's like, whoa, maybe I should have done something with all this traffic. So if you want to check it out, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
How long's it been since you've been on vacation?
Way too long.
Well, we're going to Punta Cana this November for a cool event called 80s in the Sand.
I'm so looking forward to just being able to relax during the day. All day, every day for 7 full days. And, as a bonus, get to hear some awesome music at night.
You can also meet some 80s icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and many more.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
That website again is 80sinthesand.com.
John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest joining us right now, a former international supermodel and TV host and author, Pascal Naessens. Pascal, how you doing?
Fine, thank you.
We're excited to have you on the program. You've got some really cool books that you've been working on. You've got a new edition coming out, don't you?
That's correct. My first book in America is coming out. I have already 8 books. I'm the best-selling author in Belgium. My third book is coming out in Germany, and my third book is coming out in France, and this is my first book in America, so I'm really excited.
Now, the title for this one, is it called Stay Happy and Healthy? Is that correct?
And it's also, as well, pure and simple.
Okay, very good.
It's healthy cooking, it's a pure cuisine, and it's very simple to make. Everybody can make it at home, and the more you make the recipes, the more you become happy.
Very nice. And the thing that's neat, I was on your website and I was kind of looking through, and there's a lot of the recipes are things that they look like they would be really fun to cook as well.
Absolutely, it's very fun to cook and really easy to cook. Like in Germany, they brought a book out and it said only about 6 ingredients or less than 6 ingredients, and ready between 20 and 30 minutes. And I use a lot of oven skills, so you just have to put the ingredients in the oven, in the oven skill. You put it in the oven, no work. But when it comes out, it looks like you have been working on the recipes for 1 hour or more. So for me, it's very important. I always say in life, I want it all. I want that it looks very nice, less work, and I want to eat nice, delicious food. I want to enjoy fat as well, but by the end of the week, I want to slim down as well. So I don't want to gain any weight, and I want to eat in totally freedom. So my books are a little bit of everything. As I said, I want it all, and you can have it all. If you eat in the right way, you can have it all.
Very nice. Again, visiting right now with Pascal Naessens, and she is a best-selling author from Belgium, and she's got a book coming out now in America. Now, is this the first time one of your books has been put out in America?
Yes, for me it's the first time, and it's so exciting. I'm now in New York, to promote the book for 14 days. So it's so nice to be here and to tell about my story and to tell why my books are a little bit different from all the other health books, because which is nice to hear as well. When I started, there were a lot of publicitors that didn't want to work with my book. They said, we have already enough books, and we have already enough healthy books, and I couldn't find a good publisher. And I started with a very small publisher, and in 3 years, I was the best-selling author in Belgium, and now my books are in Germany, in France, and in America. So I think they're different.
That's really cool, and that's a great story for people who maybe have tried, but they got some resistance, not to give up. It's a really good story to let people know that you don't just, when the first chance something goes a little wrong and you know you don't get an easy yes, that doesn't mean you give up, does it?
No, absolutely not. The book is really for people who want to enjoy food and not to spend too much time in the kitchen, but especially as well for people who are fighting the pounds their whole lives and couldn't find the solution. A lot of people write me that finally they got back their lives, they can enjoy food, and it's the way you can eat a lot, and you can eat even fat, you can enjoy fat, but it's especially the combinations that you make that are very important. And you can just start with the recipes, not even think about the theory, it's really easy as well. And just by the end of the week, a lot of people tell me, wow, I didn't know that I was on a diet, which is not, because I hate dieting. You should never go on a diet. Everything went wrong when I went on a diet. And you should just enjoy proper whole foods, and you will see by the end of the week, if you enjoy my recipes, by the end of the week, if you are overweight, you will lose some kilos. And the only thing I ask is you can, I have only one rule in my whole in my book, and the only rule is not to combine fast-acting carbohydrates, not to eat them together with protein, which means protein is fish, meat, and fast-acting carbohydrates are potatoes, bread, rice. And in practice, that means nothing else that I replace the bread, the potatoes, and the rice with vegetables and fat. And you will see that the recipes, what you eat, is more delicious because you add more fat. It's more satiating because you eat more fat. It's more varied because really I play with vegetables and they are really very delicious. And by the end of the week, you will see, wow, I didn't feel hungry. I have enough eaten. It was so varied what I have eaten. And as I said, by the end of the week, a lot of people say, and I slimmed down.
Nice.
And that's what I want to have. And that's for everybody like this. Nobody should fight the pounds. Nobody. There's no reason for it. But you have to eat in a different way. And I don't think anything away. You can keep still eating everything, but not just everything in the same moment. That's my only thing.
Very nice. Again, visiting right now with Pascal Naessens. She is the author of Pure and Simple, A Natural Food Way of Life. This is available right now. Where can we find this, Pascal?
You can find it on Amazon, and you can find it in the good bookshop. Like I was here in New York, and I passed by in Risoli, which is a very nice bookshop, and I was so proud to see my book there.
Yeah.
I've heard the Americans, they especially buy books on Amazon, so you can buy it pure and simple at Amazon. I think that's the easiest way.
And I'm on your website right now, and one of the things that I thought was fascinating is the ceramics that are on here as well. That's something that you also create, is that right?
Yes, that's right. That's another passion. I love to create my own world, and I love to create my own plates and what is in it. So I make my own ceramics, and I work together with Xerox, who is a very nice and a very nice entrepreneur, and he is making my ceramics abroad, so you can buy them everywhere. Also in America, you can buy my ceramics, and there are a lot of fine, very high qualified chefs that are working with my ceramics in their restaurants. So it's a nice story as well, and it's a big passion of. I have two passions: food and the ceramics, and it's so nice for me to have them.
Well, and it's fun for me to talk to somebody that has passion, because when you're passionate about things, you get things done. And what an amazing story. It's been really fun to visit with you. I congratulate you on the success you've had so far, and I think you're going to do really, really, really well.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the encouragement.
Absolutely. Again, Pascal Naessens, and I'm going to give you her website. It's PurePascal.com, and I'll have a link to that on our social media to make it really easy. And the book is called Pure and Simple, A Natural Food Way of Life. It's available right now. Thank you for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
Would you like custom t-shirts for an event or sports team? We understand that usually the budget's not unlimited. We have full-color custom printed t-shirts for just $7 each. That's one of the best prices you'll find anywhere. No minimum orders, so you can print just one or print 1,000. The price is just $7 per shirt with a minimal setup fee per design. Make the memories of your next event last forever, or help your team look amazing with a little help from CustomShirtInc.com. That's CustomShirtInc.com.
John and Heidi.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Ecuador and Chile are the only two South American countries that don't share a border with Brazil. That doesn't seem right, does it?
I don't know.
Apparently, that's what this thing says. So, hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
There are 3 names of grandchildren mentioned in the hit Beatles song, When I'm 64. Do you remember what the names were?
No, I don't like the Beatles.
Vera, Chuck, and Dave. You don't like the... How do you not like the Beatles?
We've had this conversation
I know,
many
I just
times.
don't understand how you don't like the Beatles. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Illegible handwriting is known as griffinage. So I think I am probably accused of griffinage once in a while. I have very hard-to-read handwriting. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
It is against the law to stare at the mayor of Paris. Okay. Imagine getting arrested for
All
that.
right.
What you in jail for? I don't know. Looked at the mayor too long. And finally, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
As a defense mechanism, the North American possum closes its eyes and pretends to be dead, playing like totally limp, if it thinks it's in danger, hence the term playing possum.
Okay.
That's where that comes from. So there you go. A couple of fun facts for you this weekend on the John and Heidi Show.
John and Heidi.
If you promised yourself you'd lose weight before you went to the beach, that's still within reach. Get some help from a cool pink drink. Try it free at pinkdrinkfree.com. This pink drink tastes great and can help you lose weight. 8 out of 10 Americans are overweight. If you're tired of being one of them, we'd love to help. People around the country are experiencing amazing results with this pink drink, and you can try it before you buy it at pinkdrinkfree.com. That's pinkdrinkfree.com.
John and Heidi.
I had to share this because I thought it was interesting, and I don't necessarily think that it sounds like a good idea, but I'm going to share this because it's a world record, I believe. A New York City pizza maker creates world's longest pizza, 1.3 miles long, a pizza.
Oh, cool.
And it has to be that long because they couldn't make an oven big enough if they made it that round, but they have an oven that this thing goes through, and it just keeps going through like on a conveyor belt. Took them a week to make it. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records. A pizza that will feed homeless shelters. And this happened in California. Hike Akitas, I'm sure I got all of that wrong, owner of Champion Pizzeria of New York City, and then Tony Geminigi of Tony's Pizza Neapolitana, something like that, of Los Angeles. Again, I probably got all of that wrong, but I did get this part right. They worked together with over 70 shop owners to unveil the world's longest pizza pie, 1.3 miles of pizza. It was unveiled to racing fans about a week ago. After the pizza was done, it was given to local homeless shelters in the Los Angeles area. The gentleman from New York flew out to California to design this pizza. He was formerly homeless himself before he went into the pizza business, so that's why he wanted to do something like this.
That's pretty cool.
I've got a link to the story at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And there's pictures, too.
John and Heidi.
I love watching TV shows and movies, but I hated seeing my monthly bill get higher and higher. All that money every month just to watch TV. Well, not anymore. We cut our cable. We were paying $185 a month for channels we didn't even watch. Now we pay for just the internet, and we save about $150 a month. And we still get to watch what we want, when we want, with no monthly fee. Learn how you can do this too at ChannelSurferTV.com. Watch the video there to learn how to watch movies and TV with no monthly fee. Do it today and save 50% at ChannelSurferTV.com.
John and Heidi.
Scientists say methane gas is destroying our planet, but guess what, Heidi?
What?
They've got a plan.
Oh,
It's like
good.
Beano for the planet. Scientists in New Zealand claim to have developed a vaccination to reduce methane emissions from gas passing and belching sheep and cows. That's where it's coming from. Phil Goff, New Zealand's trade minister, says, our agriculture research organization was able to map the genome that causes methane in ruminant animals, and we believe we can vaccinate against flatulent emissions. Well, if you can get a shot to make it so you don't toot, I think we better try this on humans. Sheep and cattle and goats and deer produce large quantities of gas through belching and flatulence as their multiple stomachs digest grass. The 4 million sheep and 10 million cattle in New Zealand alone burp and pass enough gas, accumulating about 90% of that country's methane emissions, according to government figures. So 90% of their bad gas comes from the critters. And all the residents there are like, no, we never toot. Never, ever. It's the sheep. Yeah. That was the sheep. Coming up, we're going to head to Illinois for
I
something
don't think that
else.
would be healthy for them to not be able to pass gas.
Well, they would pass gas, but it wouldn't be as harmful. So they would
I'm
just pass.
sure that's not healthy.
I
But
don't
whatever.
know.
Okay, I guess we'll see what happens to the
Let them
animals
test it in
there.
New Zealand, and
Yeah.
if everything works down under,
Just
then
don't
you can...
buy any meat from New Zealand.
All right, coming over here in a bit, we're going to head back to Illinois. That's where we'll be after this.
John and Heidi.
Can't wait to see what Heidi says about this. An Illinois school district is under fire for prohibiting an 8th grader from delivering a speech at graduation. They chose the 8th grader to do a speech. He turned it in ahead of time, and they said, you can't do this because there was religious content. Instead, Seth Clark, the salutatorian at Aiken Grade School in Southern Illinois, made his remarks in front of several dozen classmates and supporters on a neighbor's lawn across the street from the school. The controversy began after Clark submitted his speech, which included a Bible verse and a prayer. Administrators reviewed it and said, no way, can't do that. So, do you think that was the right thing?
Well, here's the thing. The school knows that if they let him do that, there was going to be hell to pay from all the lunatics that can't handle hearing something that could possibly disagree with their personal point of view. So they had no choice.
All right. So you agree with what they did?
They had no choice. I don't agree with it. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But they had no choice.
And it's you know...
That's where we are right now. That's where we are as a nation, and it really sucks.
Heidi has spoken. Coming up, 6 good reasons to have some nookie. I pulled this just for my beautiful bride here. I'm sure you can't wait.
John and Heidi.
How long's it been since you've been on vacation?
Way too long.
Well, we're going to Punta Cana this November for a cool event called 80s in the Sand.
I'm so looking forward to just being able to relax during the day. All day, every day for 7 full days. And, as a bonus, get to hear some awesome music at night.
You can also meet some 80s icons like Anthony Michael Hall, Andrew McCarthy, and many more.
Get all the details at 80sinthesand.com.
Use promo code RADIO to get a $200 immediate refund per person.
That website again is 80sinthesand.com.
All right, for you married couples out there, turn up the radio and listen real closely. 6 good reasons to have sex more often.
Okay.
Do you need reasons?
I don't know. Do I?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes when I'm saying, because we're married, for those of you who don't know, we are married. This beautiful bride, or this beautiful woman over here is my bride. There are times that you're going, no. So here's some reasons to say yes instead of no. And this is from Dollar Shave Club. They did a survey, and I've got a link to this on our Facebook page because I know there's guys out there going, where can I get this info? I need it. So first of all, a little bit of nookie helps you sleep. They say it actually helps you get to sleep. There's a study that proves that.
It helps you.
Yeah. And there you go. Sex relieves pain. A study from 2013 from Germany proves this one. Sex keeps you happy. What are you laughing about? You don't agree?
No. Sometimes it causes pain.
Well,
Hasn't your back been awfully sore?
well, if you do something wrong, I don't know. It keeps you happy. It says here there's a feel-good chemical that actually stays with you, so it's a good thing for that reason, too. Here's one Heidi's going to like. Sex reduces wrinkles. A Scottish study found that. It says 3 or more times per week, on average, will make you look 10 years younger than your actual age.
It's not supposed to go on your face.
Well, that's not... What are you... No, that's not what they're saying. It's because there's something that triggers the release of something else. I've got the link. I don't have time to read all of this, so I'm just giving you the bullet points here. You can see it all at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Sex improves your heart health. Also may boost your memory. And... Oh, this says, and it can be a downer, too. Well, then let's not read that part. If you'd like to read the entire thing, they've actually got all the details at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. And a big thanks to the folks at Dollar Shave Club for doing that.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
And it is time for some good news, Heidi. We
Alrighty.
always like to wrap up around here with good news, don't we?
Sure.
Do we typically hit the mark?
Usually.
I think we're going to today. On Saturday of last week, I believe, because I don't think it was this weekend, 14 women, or maybe it is this weekend, because it says on Saturday. I got the story like on Wednesday or Tuesday or something. On Saturday, 14 women will move into Poland's newest approach to the city's growing homelessness crisis. So I think maybe it is this weekend. They will live in extra tiny houses and shared communal living duties, or they will share communal living duties as they work to find more permanent housing. So it's a place called The Village. It's a 1-year pilot project to demonstrate how tiny homes might be used to replace large shelters for some people who have trauma or resistance to living in close quarters with other homeless people. So it's a neat idea because that's one of the things, if you see what, some homeless shelters are like, it's like one big room with some cots and a lot of people sleeping in one big room. That would be really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That would be really hard. I remember, what was the movie with Will Smith? Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness, yep.
And in that movie, there were a couple of different places that he was, and it was based on a true story. Chris Gardner actually did. And I remember seeing that and just thinking, boy, how tough would that be? So thank the Lord for your home. Even if it's not a great home, be thankful that you have a roof over your head, because that is something to be thankful for. If you'd like to see this entire story, I always post our good news at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. I hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for listening on this Father's Day weekend. We appreciate you.
Time now for the bonus break on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest that's returning to the program. We had a chance to talk to him a while back. We talked to Taansen Fairmont, world-leading expert in debt elimination and sovereign natural law trusts. And we spoke about sovereign natural law trusts last time, Taansen. Today, I want to learn a little more about this debt elimination program. How are you doing, first of all?
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Well, glad to have you on the program. Now, you said this debt elimination is something that a lot of people don't quite understand how all of that works, but you guys have a program that it almost, I'm going to tell you, it almost seems too good to be true, but it is true?
Well, that's because it's unique.
Yeah.
There are plenty of debt consolidation, reduction, negotiation, mediation services out there, and that's fairly easy to find. You can find them all over the internet and in the phone book. What we have is elimination, cancellation, because we've discovered fraud that the MasterCard, Visa, Discover, American Express, and even student loans never loaned anything out of their accounts. I asked people to read a book called The Creature from Jekyll Island by G. Edward Griffin. It's the story of the Federal Reserve System and how they create money out of thin air. It's just computer entries.
Yeah.
And so the banks, when they give you a $10,000 credit line on your Visa or your MasterCard, are not at risk. So therefore, they are violating truth in lending laws. So we have our customers send letters saying, this is a dispute because I have discovered new information since I opened this account that indicates that you never loaned anything, and if you did, please sign this affidavit under penalty of perjury that you are in compliance with this list of laws that show that you really did have money come out of your accounts. And if you sign this, then I'll be happy to pay it. Not once since 2002, that's 15 years, John.
Wow.
Not once have they ever signed the affidavit. They usually will beat around the bush. They'll usually write back and say, no, you still owe it because of this, this, and this, and this. You signed the original contract. Well, guess what? We give you the same letter. We call it rinse and repeat. You send the same letter back with an additional sentence saying, here's a court case that says that fraud nullifies contracts, even the most solemn contracts. And here's a U.S. Supreme Court case supporting that. So if the lender, we call them pretender lenders, committed fraud, it nullifies your agreement. And so we have a 100% success rate.
Wow.
Meaning if our customers follow simple instructions to send the letters and don't give up, because it could go back and forth for a few months, the debts go away, and the debt collection efforts go away, and even the credit scores usually remain the same, are not blemished.
Wow. Now, so the banks just cancel the loan? Does it matter how big or how small the loan is?
Nope.
So this, like a loan of any size then?
It doesn't matter how big, because it's phony. It's phony. It's bogus.
Wow.
Now, this may sound, I'm not speaking from anger, and I'm not some kind of radical, and this is absolute truth that financial professionals have confirmed. There are many books out there. There are websites on this. I've had people from Wall Street. I've had lawyers join us. We've got a growing army of people from around the country who have joined us to support us because the truth is out, and you don't have to worry about retaliation, and you don't have to worry about, will they come after me? No, you don't have to be afraid. There's nothing to be afraid of. There are plenty of consumer protection laws in place. For example, if you stop making the payments, which you can do when you start our program is a one-time fee of $450, and that's about the amount most families are spending in a month or two on their debt service. And if it's a student loan, it's usually a lot more. We have victory letters on our website showing successes. So when you stop making those payments, in some cases, collectors will call. That is illegal. Once you have notified them, and we have you sending it certified mail or registered mail, that they are to cease telephonic communications, they cannot legally call you. And if they do, you can collect $500 to $1,000 per call in small claims court. There was one guy who collected $20,000. He said, I hope they keep calling. I need the money.
Wow.
Yep.
So, again, visiting right now with Taansen Fairmont, and this is fascinating to me. When you talk to people about this for the first time, are they usually, like me, kind of speechless and just stunned that this is even a real thing?
It depends on their level of education. Some people are stunned. Some people, it's too good to be true, but a lot of others are getting well educated. There's a lot of information, a lot of seminars out there, a lot of books on this, and a lot of people are already familiar with the corruption of the system and the fact that they create money out of thin air. They just don't know what to do about it. So I've been finding that more and more Americans are not surprised by this. They just didn't know that there is a solution that works this well.
How in the world did you get...
imagine that...
Oh, go ahead.
They often imagine that it's going to be really difficult. I'm here to tell you it is not. It is not difficult to beat them.
Taansen, how in the world did you get started down this path? How did this happen? Because this is just a very unusual thing. But it's fascinating to me, and I'm looking at this going, wow, if this is for real, this is really cool and could help a lot of people. How in the world did you discover this, and how did you get started on this?
Well, I was a transcendental meditation practitioner for many decades, and I focused on the development of consciousness. And in the 90s, I got educated about a lot of what's going on behind the scenes and discovered that there are no less than 6, count them, 6 U.S. Supreme Court cases saying Americans are sovereigns without subjects. It's a new definition of sovereignty starting in 1792, and many of them in the 1800s. And I thought, wait a minute, most Americans are not living as sovereigns, so what's the problem here? And I came to realize it's due to the lack of development of inner consciousness. And so I wrote a book called Sovereignty Consciousness, and I was invited to speak at seminars, offshore investment seminars in the Caribbean and around the Pacific Rim, Australia, Bali, Vanuatu, Fiji, Mexico, Alaska, Bahamas, Bermuda, Aruba, on ocean cruises, tax haven resorts in the 90s, and it was a lot of fun. And I got to meet all these other speakers who were speaking on reduction of taxes and tax shelters and offshore, trusts and all of that sort of thing, and how to increase investment yields. And so they were speaking on those things, and I was speaking on sovereignty consciousness, and they loved it. I got standing ovations, and I was invited back again and again. And I learned a lot from all these other speakers, and I was in this network. And then I had a big financial loss in 2000, and I was devastated. And in 2002, I could no longer make payments on my credit cards. I had AAA credit rating. And because of these connections, I connected with some of this network, and they said, you don't have to pay that because it's phony, it's bogus. And I said, really? And I looked into it, and I found out the laws, and I started sending letters, and I canceled $50,000 on 7 cards, Discover, Visa, and MasterCard in 2002, and have not had a problem since. I never had to file bankruptcy. There was no litigation. I never went to court. They only wrote back a couple of times. I sent the letters again, and they just gave up. Because they have no defense to these allegations.
So in a situation like that,
years,
once you go through something like that, are you able to get a loan again in the future, or are they saying no way, can't do it
but
again?
Not from the same source. You just don't. They wouldn't welcome you at the same institution, of course.
Sure.
But there are thousands of institutions to choose from out there, and if your credit rating remains the same, why couldn't you go out and get other credit if you need to? Now, there are 2 different kinds of debt. There's debt that's bad debt, where they're trying to enslave you through debt. They keep raising interest rates. The family's struggling. They can't get ahead. They're barely able to keep their heads above water. They're sinking into debt. They're just trying to survive. And the institutions are taking advantage of millions and millions and millions of people that way. That's what I call bad debt, and that's the debt that should be canceled. And guess what? You'd be helping the economy if you do this. Not only is it ethical to cancel it, because remember, the merchant got paid. If you got goods and services, the merchant got paid as he should have been. You got what you bought, and the merchant got paid. That's fine. The international banking cartel inserted itself like the mafia into the middle of the transaction and said, give me my cut. That is what we are objecting to. And that is where the debt is phony, it's bogus, it can be canceled, it should be canceled, and when it is canceled, you have actually improved your ethics. You have actually improved the economy, because now you are spending money on, presumably, your health, your medical bills, your family, your children, your education, your food, clothing, shelter, whatever is life-supporting, instead of sending it off to this international cartel, and they're supporting their private armies and their underground cities and all the things they're doing with it. You see?
Fascinating. Again, our guest, Taansen Fairmont, and he's with brillianceincommerce.com, and we're talking about a debt elimination program that he's been doing. Now, you've been doing this for a long time, over 14 years, I see, and over 1,000 of debt cancellations. So eventually, won't the banks just say, okay, we need to change the paperwork we have people sign so they can't do this. Is that something that could happen where they just change what we're signing to change the rules?
The kind of change they would have to make will be wonderful. That means that the debts will have to be legitimate, and that means the monetary system will have to be transformed, which means it'll have to become backed by gold and oil and other assets as Basel III mandated in the central bank of all central banks in Basel, Switzerland, 2 or 3 years ago, mandated we move the world away from a debt-based monetary system to an asset-based system. That will make the system honest. That will distribute prosperity much, much more, far and wide. And then any debts that are undertaken from that point forward would be real money. And then, yes, you would really owe whatever you borrow. Until then, there is nothing they can change. They can reword the agreement all they want to, but the agreement is nullified as long as they're still using what we call the Mandrake mechanism, which is money out of thin air, and nothing ever came out of their accounts. They are not at risk. So they've never loaned anything. It's not like they had $1 million and they loaned you $10,000 out of that and their account went down. You see?
Yeah.
It's like they wrote it on a napkin. It's like they wrote it on a napkin and said, here's your credit.
Wow.
Nothing came out of their accounts, and that is fraud, and that's why we're winning. We are beating them. So I'm inviting everyone to join us, and you will be pleasantly surprised when you see your debt go away, because they have no defense to these allegations.
Well, I'm absolutely fascinated by this, and you know, I'm on your website here, and I'm seeing a lot of people that have gone through this and have successfully used it. So, it's one of those feels too good to be true things for me. Do you get that quite a lot?
No, I don't know. I've been fortunate. I guess maybe the people who think it's too good to be true don't even contact us, and I wish them well, and I really have compassion. I understand. You know, this is shocking for people who are new to it, but the people who do approach us, they have no problem with it. They're already educated. They already know. They've read the books. They've seen the websites, the seminars. It's widespread information out there now. It's not really all that uncommon.
Well,
what is uncommon is the quality of the solution. We have probably America's #1 best, most successful solution to it. So that's where people are elated. They know the problem is there. They don't have any problem with that. It's how do you solve the problem? That is where we excel.
Wow. Well, this is all new to me, so I'm learning a lot right now, Taansen. This is fantastic and interesting as we're learning here. Now,
watch the videos on our website. We've got some videos created by other people that give fantastic background education on this. So we invite people to go into brillianceincommerce.com and click on the debt elimination section, and you'll see some videos in there that'll really raise your eyebrows.
I'm looking through that right now. That's cool. I see some videos, and when we get done, I'll have to click on and watch those. Well, absolutely fascinating. If somebody's interested in learning more about this debt elimination program, and I see on here it says Liberty Debt Elimination System, if they're interested in learning more about that, do they get it right here from brillianceincommerce.com?
That's right.
Very nice. Well, Taansen, thank you very much for taking the time to visit with me. It's been a lot of fun to learn about this, and we had a chance to speak not too long ago about a completely different topic, but it was also very fascinating, and the topic that we were talking about then was another thing that I'd never really heard of before, but sovereign natural law trusts, and I see that's listed on the website as well, so if they'd like to get information on either of those, it's all on the same place right there, brillianceincommerce.com. Again, Taansen, thank you so much for doing what you're doing, and it sounds like you've got a pretty cool system there.
And, John, I think the presidents at Mount Rushmore are smiling because of your show.
There you go. Well, at least a couple of them are smiling. There's some that don't look like they're smiling much. Well, thank you again, sir. You have a wonderful day.
Okay, you too.
Again, Taansen Fairmont, and I'll give you that website one more time. And again, like I said, it sounds too good to be true, but I'm looking at it. It's there, brillianceincommerce.com, and I'll have a link to that on our Facebook page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.